You ready? Yeah, we've had a wonderful session with amazing creatives across the country who came to the public participation on the Creative Economy Support Bill 2024, which is a bill sponsored from the Senate, humbly by me, Senator Oketch. And the bill is a visionary bill that wants to bring in the creatives into a more investable economy, trying to make creatives have a platform where they can be able to influence their own industrial policy. It is high time that creatives in Kenya must not wait for policies that affect the creatives to come from government. It has to come from the creatives themselves to be able to make creative economy a viable economy and basically make creative industry a business industry. And therefore, this bill is a bill that seeks to create that support by creating a legal framework that can allow creatives to be able to have their own council or their own platform, like currently a guild that can be able to encompass all the clusters of creative industry, so that that particular body will be able to enable creatives be able to influence policy in a way that can be able to make sense for creatives. Additionally, what we are trying to advocate for in this particular bill is to be able to create a fund that will be able to allow creatives to get resources that can be able to bolster that this particular industry. The idea also is to be able to help creatives build standards that are professional standards and business standards that can make the creative industry an economically viable industry. This would include an attempt of this particular body being able to help creatives to deal with issues of royalties, issues of distribution, issues of IP laws that are affecting creatives in the country, and more importantly, issues of contracts, because sometimes the honoring of contracts for creatives in the industry has been very difficult if you think about multi-sectorial problems that creatives have faced. So this bill is a bill that for once will bring all creatives on the table of decision making across the country and across sector and across issues. The creative industry cannot just be an issue of a last resort, whereby young people might find themselves being seen as this a career that they should only be able to explore the different careers in creative industry as an issue of last resort, but it should be actually a viable career that any young person can be able to explore right from the start, because it's an organized, professional, and business career that can be able to be viable as a perfect economic opportunity for young people in the country.
So what inspired you to come up with such a bill?
Yeah, I mean, a number of things inspired me to come up with this bill. To start with, actually, I'm a creative because I started, as a young person, I used to be in the drama club that actually started in the streets when we were struggling to, first of all, make ends meet, but also just to deal with the excesses of street struggle, whereby sometimes you are stressed by different issues. Drama was the place to be able to, just wind down after a long day and after a lot of struggles. And then I explored a bit of music. In high school, I did a lot of music and also did a lot of, I was a playwright in terms of just coming up with good drama narratives that we could be able to do in schools. But the biggest thing is that when we were growing up and you thought about a career in music or a career in drama, acting, or even film, you would be told that those are careers for failures. Those are careers that you cannot be able to explore. The more lucrative ones were law, engineering, medicine, and the traditional areas that were seen by our parents as areas that are more respected, if you may, and are more organized and have got more stature. But the thing is, traveling world over, we've seen in the United States, in South Africa, in West Africa, generally Nigeria to be specific, that actually the creative industry has been a proper industry where somebody can not just make a living, but can also be a place of wealth generation. And apart from wealth generation, it's also a big contributor in the political and cultural development of the communities that we have. But the thing is, in Kenya, the different clusters of the creative industries are still isolated in their own silos to the extent that they don't make a coherent sense of a business case or an industry that can be able to be a proper economic engine. And it is because of that lack of organization and centrality in terms of synergy of having a body that can be able to fight for this particular industry for its space in the economy of Kenya, where most young people are, that has made it impossible to advance the creative economy. And this bill is going to attempt to synergize that and be able to make sure that creatives can take control of their own destiny and be able to sit where decisions about business are being made. That is why we have proposed that this bill be handled by the Trade and Investment Committee of Senate instead of just a youth and cultural affairs ministries that only sees creative industry as a contributor in the cultural aspect of our society, but not as a viable business. Yes, currently the issues of taxation that are affecting creatives, the issues of royalties that are affecting creatives, the issue of distribution that are affecting creatives, the issue of IP laws that are defectives, copyright laws that are defective, contracts that are affecting creatives, are currently not addressed because creatives are dealing with them in their different silos. The audiovisuals as a subsector is dealing with it in its own way, fashion in its own way, music in their own way. Different clusters in the industry are dealing with these struggles in their own way. And therefore they don't have a proper voice. But if they have a voice that unifies them as an industry, then they can be able to deal with these issues in a more progressive and, more importantly, conclusive manner. And that's why this guild that we're proposing, and a number of creative have also proposed that perhaps it should be a council instead of a guild. It doesn't matter. What matters is that a body that then takes control over the business case for the creative industry is what is needed in the country right now. And with that then, conversations can be industrial policy conversations. For instance, if you're going to start taxing content creators who are also paying different royalties to companies that are not based in Kenya, for instance, IG or Facebook that are based in Ireland and are taking royalties from our creatives in terms of dollars, what about if that body can be able to advocate properly for industrial policy that all those different companies that our creatives are subscribing for must have their own footprint in Kenya and offices in Kenya? What that will mean is that it will defray the taxes that are imposed on the creatives themselves, and instead the government will now tax corporate taxes on those companies like Meta that is based in Ireland and is running IG or Facebook and not tax creative directly. So there are a number of industrial policy advocacy that needs to be done and cannot happen without this particular body that then will allow for the creatives to be able to make proper investment case and business case for the entire industry. Thank you. Just to add on that. Thank you. Yeah, I think because this bill is emanating from the Senate, the complexity that has been is that between the Senate and the National Assembly, the duality on the conversation of money bills, where money bills must originate from the National Assembly and sometimes must also be passed from the National Assembly, it makes it sometimes difficult to talk about prescriptive sections of the bill. So, for instance, we have put in the bill that there has to be proper incentives that can be able to allow this particular body to build the capacity of talent in the creative industry. Now, if you prescribe it in terms of proper financing, then it starts becoming a money bill. We have also talked about a fund, but if we prescribe the source of that fund or even the percentage of that fund and be very specific about that, then it becomes a money bill that then will not see the light of day if the National Assembly is not concurring this at the same time with the bill. So in writing this bill, we were pretty cautious, but necessarily so that we can be able to allow the creative, first of all, have a house that can be able to advocate for regulations that then will then come with proper mechanism for putting specifications into the kind of incentives they want and the kind of fund and sourcing that they want, and even the kind of membership that they want, that then becomes a proper discourse in terms of having a proper association that works. But the genius of that is then that creatives, all of them then become on the table where decisions are made across different governance institutions, both in the national government and in the local government. What is happening currently is that they are actually not in control of the conversations that are happening by decision makers because they are not on those tables where decisions are being made. So the first excuse for progress by this bill is to be able to make creatives be on those platforms where governance decisions are being made each and every day of our country.